What's up, everybody? So today we have a very special episode of The Story Behind with a very special guest, my best friend and homie, Derrick Caldwell. And this is the story behind us going to China. Was it 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
So this is an interesting, crazy journey.
By the way, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Hey, I'm excited for you being here. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted to reminisce with somebody who was there with me and also get another perspective on the trip. Because, I know what the trip was for me. I don't really know what it was in your eyes.
Oh, it was definitely a different one for me.
Right. And that's kind of the cool thing about it is that we both had two different experiences on this. So let me paint the picture a bit. It's 2011. Now, JP, shout out to JP.
JP Goldstein.
JP Goldstein basically put us in contact with some people over in China. And I was originally supposed to go in the summertime in like August. And here's a lessons learned off the bat. If you're traveling international, be sure to read the time correctly, meaning that it's most likely going to be in military time or a 24-hour clock. It's not what we're used to with, American system.
You know what? Side note, and since then, I have put my phone in
24-hour?
24-hour clock.
Smart. So I was supposed to
10
go.
years. 10 years. It's been that way. 10 years.
Right. And that was my mistake. See, that's wisdom right there. He learned from my mistake. So I was supposed to fly out in like August. I thought my flight was at 1 p.m. I show up to LAX like maybe at 11 a.m. to find out that I'm already like 8 hours late, that the flight was at 1 a.m., the previous night. And I thought I blew my opportunity. They didn't try to bring me back out right away, so I missed that. That was in August. And then we went out in October.
September, October, November?
No, we went out because it was supposed to be October, November, December. And then you left early, and then I got cut early.
Okay. So October, November.
Okay. And so here's the thing. We get in contact with somebody who runs a company over there, and they're contracting dancers from the U.S. to come over there and perform. And the kind of cool thing about it was a different setup than what we're used to here. Here we have auditions, and we have to go audition for the job. Over there, you're a part of a company that is contracted by the artist, so they're always working. You kind of like audition to be a part of the company, and then once you're a part of the company, you're a working dancer. They constantly will kind of put you in between different artists, music videos, tours, random shows in between, and all that. So we were contracted to go out for like 3 months. I remember them saying we're gonna do a couple shows with an artist, Jane, and then the New Year's Eve special. That was the big thing. And then we flew out. This time I wasn't alone. The second time we went out in October, it was me, it was Derrick, our friend KK, and Cassandra.
Yes.
Yeah, just the four of us. And then our contact...
So we want to get into how we first started the contact with Ken. So I guess it was through JP.
Yeah.
And then through JP it was through you.
Yes.
And then from you it was through me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you contacted me. It was like, hey, they're looking for another dancer. They want another dancer. Maybe you come down to wherever we went. Did we go to eat or something like that?
Oh, this is when you
meet Ken.
Yeah,
I think we went to like a restaurant, like Korean barbecue or something.
Yes.
Okay, so something like that.
Yeah,
vaguely remember, but met with him. Seemed like a cool dude.
Mm-hmm. Real cool dude.
Really cool dude. Like
Ken's a great dude. Honestly, he was probably one of the.
He dresses fly.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Hard to understand. Smokes a lot of cigarettes, but it's all right. He was cool.
Cultural differences.
Right. And that's pretty much how we started the whole process of the whole thing. Because I remember us going back and forth, me trying to get
a passport.
I had a passport.
Uh-huh.
But I need to get like a visa?
I think so.
Like a stamp or something? Something like that. Because I remember going down to the embassy.
Yeah, because I had to do the same thing.
Right.
I think it was a visa. I think we
it's
had to
all
get
pretty
cleared.
vague, the process, but the details. But generally, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All of that happened, and And then it was, I guess, time to go.
We kind of had a couple meetings, a couple hangouts.
Yeah,
and
a couple
then,
meetings, couple hangouts, couple. Do you have this? Make sure everything is all right before we go. Blah blah blah. And then I'll book your tickets.
Right. We had to have everything in order and then to book the tickets.
Right. So even though a lot of this isn't detail wise, and we're speaking generally, pay attention to this part because it's very important. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of, and let's also paint the picture that at the time
there was no like dancing yet. There was no dancing.
Oh, in this process.
In this process,
yeah.
We all went to hang out.
This is all
eat,
referral. This is all
chill,
referral based.
Talk, kind of like what we're doing now.
Yeah, the whole thing was referral based.
Right. Got all my stuff together, paperwork, documents, and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he booked the tickets. Right.
Yeah, and then
For
he booked
all?
the tickets, and then and then he walked us to the gate. I remember that because he definitely wasn't gonna make sure I missed the flight twice. And then 15-hour flight?
Oh man, I don't even remember the flight.
Yeah, it was like a 15-hour flight.
I definitely
over there.
slept most of the time, so that's why I don't remember.
Let me just say a side note at the time that in pursuing professional dance, at the time before a pandemic and a shutdown, a lot of American dancers went over to China to kind of do random gigs. Like some people would go to teach, some people would perform with artists and do club tours. And then this opportunity for us was probably one of the more upscale ones because like this was an actual production company that we were with, and we did do a actual concert in like an arena. So it was definitely it didn't feel like a scary thing so much to be like we don't know what we're getting into or anything like that, because it was still kind of like relevant, I think, for people to be like, oh, this person's going to China for a few months, this person's going to China for a few months, this person just came back from China. This opportunity was kind of like, I don't want to say expected, but it's kind of like one of the norms after a while, I guess.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like at one point you get an opportunity to perform at Carnival, and another time you're going to get an opportunity to go to China.
Yeah, it was always skeptical though.
Oh, yes, true. And you didn't know what level you were going to get. So then we go to China, and then what is your first take?
When we get there?
Yeah.
Oh, the culture shock.
Right.
Immediate culture shock.
I'm trying to remember what I
was like, oh, they all ride bikes here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we were riding in, like the taxi.
Right. We rode a lot of taxis.
A taxi right there. And just looking out the window.
Yeah. I remember.
And then the second one? Oh, the second one.
What do you mean the second one?
The second thing that I noticed, like culture shock.
Yeah.
The difference, where we were staying.
Yeah, where we were staying. So this is what's funny about where we were staying.
That. Oh yeah, talk
man.
about that shit.
So they turned an old like karaoke bar
Oh god.
into like a hostel.
Oh Lord Jesus.
It was like literally it was like a hostel, different people staying in different rooms or whatever, and these were little rooms that they would have for karaoke. You have the TV, there's the machine, here's the couches that you would sing on, and then they like put beds in there and space things out. So for us it was like a very communal thing. It was like us two, our friend KK that came with us, two other Americans that we met up with over there, J Nug and Duo, shout out to them. And then like all the other Chinese dancers and even some other random people just living in this space.
No.
And then the bathroom.
I can that's why I was shaking
the
my head. That's what I
bathrooms.
was hearing.
Oh, because it's all communal.
Because I can still smell it. I can smell it.
Oh,
right
the smell.
now.
So here's what's crazy. First and foremost, there's no toilets in these bathrooms. The toilet is in the floor. Like you can flush it, but it's in the floor. So you're doing the squat. Mind you, I never understood. What do you do with the pants? You just take the pants off, put it over your shoulder. You can't just hold it. Anyways, you're doing that. It's just gross as is. And then the cultural difference with the Chinese is that they'll smoke cigarettes all the time,
Inside,
everywhere,
outside,
everywhere.
doesn't matter.
Oh my God! So you're trying to use the bathroom, and somebody in the next stall is squatting, taking a shit, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Imagine a cigarette mixed with shit smell.
oh man.
Cigarettes and shit, that's what it smell like.
So that's where we were staying. The girls had a little bit of a nicer spot. Theirs was more like a hotel.
This was a little bit nicer, but it was still like, what the fuck? Because the shower.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Well, they had at least had a toilet, but
The shower
yeah,
was in the.
it was all one unit. The shower wasn't separated, so you'd have like, here's your sink, here's your toilet, here's the shower head, in the shower hole right there.
And they was saying it, and it was like I couldn't picture it until I went there. It was like, oh, this is what you mean. So it's all in one.
Yeah, it was.
It's all literally in one.
Yeah, like
you step into
the toilet is right there. Here's the shower drain.
You step into the tile on the tile, and it's the toilet, the sink, and the shower all
now
into one.
Now, don't judge me, but there was at least once or twice where it did make it more efficient bathroom use to not have to like get up and go to the shower.
Oh,
as you know, you're finishing up, just turn on the shower,
I
get up, and just you ready to go. You really have to make the best of it. What else about China in those first recollections? First things I think I was shocked at: food delivery, everything. They deliver on bikes as well, but like McDonald's, Burger King, I think even Subway.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like they had delivery, everything. I was very shocked about that. I thought that was very efficient, and I thought that we should implement that here. Obviously, we do now, but they use bikes. It might be faster.
We use bikes, but we also use cars, which is faster.
Sure, I guess it depends on where you're at. Those cities where we were at in Beijing. We were staying in
It's a
Beijing.
lot closer.
Everything, it's, it's a very big city, but yeah.
And since we're talking about food, speaking of food, there's street food. There's skewers.
Ooh, the skewers. The skewers and whatever those dumplings were that we would get.
Oh,
I was going hard on those.
Yes.
So there was a street vendor, a lady who would be there like every morning. So workers would get up like 5 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m. to get up and start their day, and so they'd have people on the street who would start making breakfast. And so sometimes we'd come back late from either a rehearsal or if we went out, and we would catch them as they're starting the day. And one of them was like kind of like a dumpling. One would have either pork and something in it. The other one would just have some vegetables in it. But it was delicious. You get like
that was his favorite.
That was my favorite. You get like 10 in a bag. I was buying like 3 bags. Oh, I was going. I would give him and the friend this 1 bag to share, and then keep 2 for myself. I was going in on the bags.
And then mine was skewers, meat on a stick.
Oh, you did go in on the skewers.
Yo, I would get like 12 of them hoes at a time, and then just
yeah. And then we would eat a lot at that mall.
Yeah.
And then that one spot we found, that little hole in the wall spot that we would go to. Like we were there for like 2 months, so we kind of had to like get to know the area and try things, and we weren't trying to always eat just the American food. Although we did have probably more KFC at that point in our lives than we ever did before that.
I had a lot of McDonald's.
Yeah, a lot of McDonald's.
McDonald's out there is better than here.
Yes, that's for sure.
Way better.
So let's talk about the job or in the studio and all that. So we get there, we unpack our stuff, we walk on over to the studio. The studio is actually pretty cool. They have a nice little setup there. Was it like 3 separate floors?
Something like that,
Yeah, a bunch of different rooms, a little lunchroom. I'll be honest, I think my favorite part of the whole thing, though, was for a moment the feeling of when we woke up, the only thing we had to do today was dance. And I thought that was the coolest fucking shit.
Okay.
Here's the kind of the shitty thing. We had to bring our own money and kind of survive on our own until we did a job or a show. Then we would get paid for the show. The first show wasn't until like a month and a half. You didn't do a show for almost 2 months.
I didn't do a show at all.
You did one show.
I didn't do a show at all.
You did one show.
Okay, yeah, at the end.
Yeah. You did one show at the end. But it was definitely a little hard part to survive off that. but it was still enjoyable to not have to worry about anything else really. Like it was kind of cool to wake up and like, yo, we're all here just to dance, learn choreography, hang out. I enjoyed that. What was your take?
You know what? I was just happy to be there.
Right.
I didn't even think about like waking up. Oh, I'm about to go dance. Cause do that shit back here.
Well, yeah, right.
But that's pretty much what I got from it. Even being in the rehearsals, I was just like, this is kind of just like, being in like a carnival rehearsals. We're just in a different country.
Place. Yeah, that's very
so
true.
That's why I was
because
just like happy to be in a different place.
Right.
Doing. Not necessarily doing it, but like being in a different place doing it.
Yeah, I agree. The environment really kind of switches up the energy of it and the feeling of it. Because it was cool to be there.
And that made me want to do it more.
Right. And then all the Chinese dancers were dope. They were all cool people. There was a lot of them. It was a pretty big company, and they had more than one camp, I think.
It's too many.
It was too many, but I mean, we were with a main set or a main group that was with us while we were prepping for the show. But that was all good times. So then, Derrick, what did they tell you then upon getting there? Because you didn't do a show. So what did they tell you? Like we were prepping for the first show. What happened? Because you weren't doing those concerts with me.
So what I remember was the label coming to watch. Remember the label coming to watch the rehearsals?
Right.
Motherfucker.
Okay. I take it you weren't this is not a rehearsal you were going full out on.
Right. This is when Showtime came in.
Yeah.
So the label came to watch our rehearsal, basically. Prior to this, maybe about a few days, not even like a week or anything, a few days, the choreographer taught us this piece. We don't have it down pat yet.
No.
It's like, how long of a fucking, piece is this?
Oh, we're doing full songs.
We're doing full songs. We're doing full songs.
So we're learning.
And it's like at least.
Chorus.
Well, what do we have to show them? Like at least 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
I think we had at least 2
That's
songs.
still a lot for 2, 3 days. What the fuck?
Just learning.
So the label comes in to watch it, and basically it's not up to their standards. So I guess they use that as an excuse to pull some of the dancers, and I wasn't just the only dancer that they pulled, but that's what they told me. Apparently, today.
So wait, but at that moment, you were under the impression that they pulled you because you
I wasn't giving my all. I wasn't doing full out.
And
they needed to see it.
Right, but you didn't feel that you was doing that full out.
Probably wasn't.
Okay. Well, this is honest. And so, but it was you and what, KK, right? And maybe Desi?
Yeah, Des.
See,
I remember Cassandra making it through.
See, I completely had a different take on why you guys were all cut, and I completely thought it was all physicals. Like they wanted KK to lose weight, he wasn't in shape enough, so remove him. They wanted somebody taller, which is again what baffles me.
And this is what I learned today.
This is what baffles me. It's like in my mind, I felt like they didn't use you because you weren't tall enough and it wasn't gonna fit. And in my mind, I'm like, well, you knew what his height was before he got here. So if he was gonna be too short, why is he here?
But they had short male dancers too, though.
They did, and you were still the shortest one.
How am I? Me and Kieran are the same height.
Oh,
We're
that's
literally
right.
the same
Kieran.
fucking height. And there's probably
he's a little taller.
a few. No, there's probably
He's like 5'6".
At least
You're
2
like,
others whose name I don't remember.
You're like 5'4".
Me? No.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
5'2".
5'3".
But regardless, I was under the impression that you guys were all cut due to physically not matching up.
And the artist was Jane was short with the Vivi.
Right.
Girls who are short.
Well, I guess the guys they wanted taller. They wanted tall guys. Although there's only the other one dude that was taller that had the stature for it. But anyways, so we go out there to do these shows. So then he gets removed from the show. I still do the show.
Removed from the show.
Right.
Removed from the show.
So then what do you end up doing? You just still rehearse while we were gone?
So Ken was
Uh-huh.
out there. And I specifically remember this. Ken was out there. Brought us into his office. Sat us down. Me, and when I say us, me, Dez, and KK.
Right.
Yep.
You guys were the trio.
Motherfucker.
Because you guys were the ones that were
Dez
taken
and
up.
KK. Sat us down and said, alright, it's not going to work out for you three for this show. But we have another artist that we want you guys to work with. She has a show or whatever coming up in a few weeks, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like,
So-
what are you talking about?
Right.
So,
I imagine
like-
that being really shitty.
So, remember earlier when he said we were out there and we were getting paid?
Right.
Like, we wouldn't get paid until we did our first show.
Now, he's out of the first show.
So that's what came into my mind. I was like,
Right.
whoa, what the fuck?
Because that happened. So let's say
Like, how am I gonna be here for a few weeks and
So that
I don't have no
show,
fucking money?
that show that you're talking about wasn't until like the end of November, maybe. Like we got out there in October. The first show was gonna be maybe like the show that we were all supposed to be on had like 5 concerts planned, and then the one that he got moved to was a different one. So the first one of the show for us was still like November. That means he's not doing his first show until like end of November. I don't know if it was before Thanksgiving or after. I feel like it was after.
It was after. It was after.
Right, so that means he's up there for almost 2 months without making any money.
People were paying for me.
Oh, I mean, yeah. We were definitely helping out. But that was kind of an annoying thing that I was like, well, why did you have to put him through that? Like,
Like, I think he also gave us an ultimatum. Like, either you guys can stay or you can go home. I think he did. I think he didn't give us that ultimatum.
well, because you guys did
decided-
go
and
home.
We
Because you guys decided to go home early. You know, KK left early.
And we decided to stay that one time. That first time.
So you stayed first to do the one show, and then you guys decided to leave early.
No, I'm talking about when he brought us in.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
saying that
well.
you stayed that time,
Yeah.
did the show, and you still left because you
We
didn't do
did
the
that.
New Year's.
We did that concert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did that concert, and then you guys ended up leaving shortly after that because you guys didn't stay to do the New Year's show.
I guess not. You
Yeah.
stayed? You stayed?
I was supposed to stay. I was there when
It's
Antoine.
all kind of vague to me, like, you know. Like,
Oh, I remember it well. So we do. I'll get to the rest of that then. So we do these shows. Mind you, I personally loved it. It was one of my favorite experiences ever because I got to go to at least 4 or 5 different cities in China. I got to go to Hong Kong and back to switch our visas. But the concerts were amazing. Like, it was my first time getting to perform on stage in front of at least 18,000 people or so for the concerts, and I got to do at least 5 of them. So that was a lot of fun. And then all of us from that concert got to be brought in on the ones that he was doing and working on. So it was actually a really fun experience to perform with him and everybody out there. Because that was kind of the whole point of like him going, is like extending the opportunity, but you also want to like
experience
it and have fun with your friend. And it took like 2 months for that to happen. But I will say, in between that though, we got to teach, and that was fun.
Yeah.
You got to teach out there, and that was a really cool experience, teaching dance to an area or to a group of people that don't speak any English. It's a difficulty, but that is the cool
Oh,
thing
they
about
paid us.
art.
They paid us for that.
Oh, they did pay for that, yes. Nice. But it was really cool seeing how art and culture can transcend, because you have a room of people who don't speak the same language, but we're all doing the same things and moving together, and you know, they're trying to figure out what either one of us are saying.
Yeah, they actually let us each teach a class. So
Mhm.
it was, like, at least 7 of us. It was like me, you, Cassie, KK, Duo, J-Nug.
I think Cassie probably taught another one after that or something.
I don't think Des taught.
No.
She was not.
Maybe Meech.
Maybe.
Yeah. But that was a real cool experience too. That was probably one of my favorite ones of it. And so those are kind of our highlights, kind of some of them. The shows were the fun part. Here's our first taste of some crazy shit. Is the China, I don't even know, how do you describe this night? What is there a title for this night?
So we're talking about the highlights, and then now we're talking about the shadows.
Well, it's one
like that.
It's one hell of a big shadow. Okay, so here's what happens. We get Showtime, the choreographer, shout out Showtime, gets brought in to work on choreography. I think this might have been like the first day he got in. We were already there for a few weeks. And so rehearsal ended early, and this was like the first night we had an early night in the last 2 weeks. So we all kind of decided, hey, let's go out and hang out tonight. Let's go maybe to a bar, grab a drink, and then we'll go home early so that we get enough sleep to get to rehearsal the next morning. And so it's a fun night. It's all of us, everyone together. There's like eight of us that are Americans all hanging out. We go have dinner, we go to the bar, or we go to a club, we have a couple of drinks, we're having a good time. And as we're leaving, I think, were we going to another bar?
Yes.
So we were going from one club to another club. And the way this area was set up is you had like a line of clubs on one side and a line of clubs on the other side of the street. And then in the middle, you have a bunch of street vendors and sometimes like structures and things. So we were leaving one club to go to a club on the other side, and as we're crossing these structures where there's like tables in front of, we cut behind a table that there was nothing set up on, like whoever the vendor was had left. So we had like walked behind and we're walking like around, and then out of nowhere, some drunk Chinaman pushes Duo.
Drunk Chinaman.
Pushes Duo out of our group. And out of everyone in the group, the person you shouldn't try to pick a fight with is Duo, because he's the dude that will fight back. No hesitation. Like, he's going to swing back without any thought. And that's all I really saw. I saw somebody push him, and then he pushed back, and then I just started seeing swinging going on. What do you remember?
I have a different take.
I
have a totally different take. I remember walking with whoever I was walking with.
Uh-huh.
I guess we was in front because J-Nug.
Yeah.
He was with either Cassie. They was walking arm to arm. I do remember that. And then they walked back to go look at something. I think J-Nug said he wanted to go look at the pipes or something like that. And then as I'm walking, forward, I turn around, look back, everything's happening.
Yeah.
Like that's just much fun.
I didn't see any of that. I'm pretty sure I do
So
remember
I
them
didn't
walking.
see how it started. I just heard somebody tell me that's how it started.
Oh man, I just know that.
Because it was so many of us, there's like 7 different stories.
Absolutely, everyone's got their own interpretation, and so because it's a group of us, it happened to be turned into like a group against us. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're all kind of being attacked by somebody, and every person has like a small weapon.
Anybody that was out there,
it turned into a scene.
It was, we're gonna protect our own type shit.
All I remember seeing was somebody doing the Honda arm, trying to protect themselves from a belt. Somebody swinging with a small metal pipe. They was coming for us.
I saw those rolling pins.
Yeah.
Those not pans.
But pins, the things. Yeah.
Things. I saw somebody with that.
Oh yeah. People were pulling out weapons out of nowhere. It was like, what is going on?
Why?
And here's the thing: is like, first of all, we didn't do anything or start anything. Second of all, we're in another country on a job. We can't really.
This is really not something that we should be getting into.
Right. The last thing we're supposed to be doing is getting into a fight or dealing with police. And it's like, we can't speak the language to tell them to calm down or to stop. Like, we don't even know why they're attacking us to begin with. At this point...
Deal with police,
No, we ran. Everything.
I remember that shit.
No,
They
we
probably
do at the
would've helped
hospital.
us anyway.
So, what all this craziness has happening, we're all trying to get away because, again, we're all there on a job. We don't necessarily have, like, a visa to work, but we're not trying to deal with the troubles of dealing with police or getting into fights in another country. So we're all trying to escape and leave, and so we're all kind of trying to run. We're retreating, going to the main street, and people are getting into the taxis. And then I remember that you lost your wallet.
I did.
And then...
That's terrible.
And then...
To lose your wallet in another country.
And then we went back to look for it.
To try to look for it, which was a bad idea.
Not a smart idea. Not at all. So everybody else is now in the taxis. Him and I are by ourselves walking back to where the incident was to see if we could find his wallet. If this was like where the main street was and this is a corner and here's where everything was, as soon as we turned this and they saw us, it was like a bull staring at red. They just charged at us. And it was like an angry Chinese mob.
We're not trying to come back and hurt you guys.
Like the two of us.
I just want to look for my wallet. Of course they didn't understand that. It was a cultural language barrier.
We couldn't say nothing. So,
Say shit.
but it's not like we were talking in that moment. The moment they started running at us, we started running. Oh my god! I just remember running. There's like an angry Chinese mob behind us, and then we both hop into the taxi, and then just tell it to go.
I wonder where that wallet is today.
Maybe somewhere with my hard drive. That's out there. So we have to all go to the hospital. Everyone's got a different injury. Des got stitches in her head. People are hurt. I think I probably had the least amount of hurt. I got kicked in the back at some point. I don't know how, but...
I didn't get hurt at all.
No? Okay, so
No.
he came out unscathed. It was definitely one hell of a crazy experience. And I remember the next day what really I felt sucked for us was getting called out. All the dancers getting called out by the choreographer in rehearsal for like basically slacking off because everybody's injured and tired.
Yeah. So like the next day in rehearsal, we couldn't let them know.
Yeah, they didn't want us to tell him. They did not want us to talk about it at all. So he just looked at us and looked at us like we were slacking. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, what is going on?
Fucking injured out here.
And we were hurting and we couldn't say nothing. I remember, I think, saying something like, I feel like we're all pretty beat right now. But...
Literally.
Yeah. But it was not a good look. It definitely did not put us in a good light in his eyes. That was one of the crazy things. So I guess the lesson learned there is be careful if you're American.
No. Okay.
And more so if you're black.
The lesson learned is that just beware when you go to other countries.
You're under the surroundings, the differences.
Their cultural differences.
Yeah. Oh, and price differences. Hey, by the way.
Don't do anything stupid.
It's hard not to when you find out that beer is like the equivalent of 75 cents out here in the U.S. So that was my first time ever drinking beer was out in China. That was an experience.
Mine too.
That was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun times. Okay, so then that experience, that was one hell of an experience. Anything else for you that was a crazy...
Two. I have two.
What else?
Remember when I don't know if it was bit, allergic reaction.
Oh, you got bit
or
by
what?
something. Yeah.
No, on my arm.
Right.
And I had to go to the hospital to get a shot for it.
Right. It swelled up, right?
It swelled up, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that was very random.
Very random.
And then, what was the other?
And then the concert itself was cool. A few things I remember about that.
What's that?
Rehearsing.
Uh-huh.
The concert itself. It was cool performing like on that big ass stage and those
Closer to the mic.
costumes and shit.
I said come close to the mic.
It was good to perform. Well, it was cool to perform in those costumes on that stage. Someone almost got into a fight. I do remember that.
Yeah.
In the hallway.
Yeah, with one of our dancers.
See, it's like China. They're mad at something.
Yeah, I just think you got
like
a lot
they have
of,
a very short temper. It's a lot of fighting going on.
You got a lot of bored people drinking. And so, yeah, one of our other dancers, I'm blanking on the name right now, almost got into a fight with I think a security guard?
Yeah, something.
A security guard of the arena.
Something like that.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember that night though. That night was fun. We all got
And
to drink and hang
then
out.
afterwards, we all got shit faced. Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing. It was free food and drinks. It was all provided, for everyone after the show.
Shit faced, drunk, throwing up.
But here's a lesson learned on international drinking or drinking with Chinese. Ganbei is cheers, and when they cheers you, it's you take the whole thing. And so a lot of times if you're drinking, beer
you
or
have
wine,
to, and it's considered disrespectful if you don't.
right. So people would just walk around the table to different tables and cheersing different people.
And it was like higher ups too, like
Right.
people who were in charge of this.
Yeah,
the
you
boss,
have like
the boss of this. You can't say no.
Right. Right. It would be. It was considered culturally disrespectful if you did not finish the drink. So whether you're taking shots, whether you're doing beer or wine, you're finishing the full thing every single time. Woo! See, I think I was a little smarter by this point because I had done a couple shows. I had realized the move to go into the drinking is you got to eat first. There's also free food, and I was always excited for free food. So I was going to eat the food first and then go drink. I think most other people started with the drinking first because free drinks. But that was definitely fun times.
I remember it was Des. She needed a bag
Probably.
On the bus.
Yeah.
Going
I
back.
think she threw up on the bus in the back.
Oh, gee.
Oh, man. So that was good times.
Good time.
We all celebrated Thanksgiving at a KFC.
KFC.
Shout out to KFC. And so I guess that was kind of it. You and KK left. Right after that, we had a whole another set of batch dancers coming in because so the concerts were done. We were gearing up now for the New Year's Eve show. And so this was probably like my hardest lesson learned when learning to shut the hell up. So they bring in a whole other set of dancers. We're working on things. At the time,
Who went out there? Was it Antoine?
Antoine, Anthony Lewis, a few other people. JP had just got there the day after I was
And
sent
Anthony
back.
got it through Cassie.
Yeah. So everyone kind of referred somebody. So, so what happened to me was, this is what you really have to understand when you're on jobs and when to know when to speak. The company that hired us, I guess, had a contract with the choreographer to do the New Year's Eve special that they didn't necessarily want to fulfill. And they didn't want the dancers to share any information as to what we were doing with the choreographer. I didn't seem to get that idea. I was completely unaware at all. So I remember one time at a concert somewhere, I'm having casual conversation and I guess I'm giving more information than I should be, or that the information of what we're doing for the rest of the trip. And one of the other dancers was trying to get me to come back in and finish getting ready. And I foolishly was like, no, I'm already ready. I'm dressed. I'm good. I'm warmed up. I'm just going to keep this conversation going. Because I guess in my mind, it was like my first moment with him that we're having a good conversation, we're having a good moment, because I felt like there was kind of tension. I'm not gonna lie, I got called out on this thing. I got straight up told I was not hip hop. He's like, dude, you don't know how to dance hip hop. And I'm like, I understood it, don't get me wrong, I know my training. But the last place you want to be told that you're not hip hop is when you're on the job being the hip hop dancer. Doesn't really feel good or fit the bill. So this is my one moment that I'm having a good moment with him, and we're having conversation, and I guess I say more than I need to say. And then a couple weeks later, after the other show, and I think after you guys leave, we're prepping, we're rehearsing. I have a full day of rehearsal with everybody. I think I'm going over things with Antoine and reviewing some stuff, and then they bring everybody in the room. Oh, this is some shit. It's 30 dancers. You've got 15 Americans, 15, 20 Chinese. Everybody's in the room. And then they start to read a letter. And it's about me and how I have like had a breach of contract by speaking more than I should have, and that I will be relieved from duties, and that my flight is tomorrow morning.
Damn.
No, they say this in front of everybody. I don't get any prep. I don't get pulled aside. We don't go talk about it in the room. I'm sitting there finding out with everybody that I'm getting kicked out and I'm going home tomorrow morning. And they're like,
This is a classic Shaboobs thing.
I hate that it's classic. I hate that would be a classic Shaboobs thing. But, so, and they're like, you will be escorted out. And I'm just like, wait, what? So they escort me out. I have to go back to my room. And mind you, everybody else still has rehearsal. So I go to my room alone.
Oh, man.
And I sit there. I went and bought myself some Chinese white wine. And the white wine smells god-awful. Like, anytime anyone was drinking the white wine, you knew he was trying to get fucked up. Because that shit was bad. So I'm sitting there at my hotel room drinking this white wine by myself, packing my bag. Everyone came to the room to say goodbye to me except for one person.
Ooh.
I don't want to put her out, but
Why?
I think she was the one that told them that I was talking to the choreographer.
It wasn't the choreographer?
No, because he was trying to get information. He wasn't going to spill anything that I said.
That's fucked up.
That's why I think she didn't come by my room. She's the only person that didn't come by my room. Everyone, even the, like Anthony, we just got there, is like everyone came by my room that night, was like, oh bro, man, I'm so sorry. Like, da-da-da. Like, everyone was there with me chilling. She's the only one that didn't.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow. Talk about a hard lesson learned.
Have you talked to her since then? If you have to think.
I think we've maybe reached out once or twice. Like, I've probably... I know I try to show support on social media. Like, I don't want to have any hard grudges against anybody. She was doing whatever she thought was, you know, her job or duty. But it was definitely a kick in the gut. It was definitely an eye-opening experience and a lesson to really be aware of your surroundings, know when to speak and what to speak, and yeah, be cautious of everybody else then, I guess. But that was for sure, because I was supposed to be there till the end of December. I was supposed to be there through New Year's.
Damn.
Like, that was my whole thing. I was going to go there from October.
So when was that?
That was like the first week of December. Like, I came home a week after you guys. Like, you guys chose to leave early afterwards because there wasn't anything else going on. They were going to have you guys do that the New Year's Eve show. Or you guys, I don't know if you opted out to do it. But you guys had left. And then the next batch, we're rehearsing, getting things ready. Like, I'm teaching Antoine some things. Here's what's bad about it. I was so hurt. First of all, you knew you were going to make this decision. And you had me go through a full day of rehearsal. I was going so hard this full time. Like, I'm over here trying to be like super dancer. Like, all right, what do you need? Because you guys are just getting here, so you guys got to learn something that we've already picked up. All right, so let me review with you guys this. Okay, so we're going to learn this. I was trying to be all of it everywhere and be all about it. Full day of rehearsal, knowing that they were going to make this decision. Secondly, it hurt that they couldn't have done it privately, even if at first, or just privately, period. Like, it would have been nice to rather have just gone to the room and have a conversation and be told what happened than to be sat down and kind of publicly humiliated in front of everybody. Like, I felt like I was scolded like a school kid for doing something I didn't know I did wrong. And it was like, there's no, here's your first strike. It's, all right, you're done, go home.
Mm-hmm.
What? And like, again, I had a great experience. I was having fun. I did the shows. I was having, and then to get cut short, just.
And like that.
Oh man.
That hurts.
As you'd say, a classic Shaboobs moment. My brother would feel the same way. He's like, how would you, only you would have that happen to. Yeah. And it was so heartbreaking for me, man.
Well,
It hurt. And what sucked is the next day JP got there. I think the stuff that my mom had sent me had just got there, and I was getting sent back alone. But all in all, it was definitely one hell of an experience. We had a lot of food, a lot of crazy first time experiences. It's about that time I know, huh? Appreciate you. But I definitely still regard that as a great experience. I'm happy that you got to come out, because even though you didn't get to do as much, I enjoyed my experience, I think, more because I had a friend with me there. You got to teach a class at least, do a show.
Yes, I did. Got to teach class, do a show, eat a lot of food.
Try new things.
Smell a lot of shit.
Yeah. Got to try new things, see new places,
Yes.
make good memories.
Definitely memories.
By the way,
Good and bad.
here, side note, has nothing to do with anything. We're gonna end it soon. But he was not a fan of the show Friends prior to him having to go to another country and not have cable or anything else to watch but a couple Friends DVDs. I was trying to get him into Friends for like years. Nothing. Send him to a place where he can't do anything but like watch the same couple of DVDs, and he was hooked.
Yeah. I watch Friends every night now.
Proud. All right. Good times. Thank you, bro.
Yes.
All right. Later.